like one more minute because I see there's a bunch of people still coming in here. And then what I think we'll do is as soon as we get started, we'll ask if everybody can mute your line here, but also we want to make sure that everybody can share in the chat. Feel free to share where you're from, and the idea behind these are, first of all, this is being recorded, but also I want to say that we're going to share the recording of this with anybody who was unable to join us today, but also if you want to connect with anyone, feel free to share your contact information, or if you hear somebody on here, feel free to reach out to us and we can make an email introduction. Because the idea is everybody's deploying GrandCare in different ways and doing different things, and it would be very awesome if everybody could interact and network with each other and just share ideas and thoughts. So with that,
I was just going to say that goes for questions too. If anybody has any questions, please throw them in chat. I think Katja's in the chat, probably watching that. Maybe some other GrandCare folks are looking at that. So we will definitely see that.
Yeah, I think we'll be monitoring that.
Awesome. And I think what we can do is we'll start with just introducing, and if all the GrandCare folks could just make sure that you're on camera for a minute here. But let's just start out by introducing all the GrandCare team, because I'm not sure that everybody has had a chance to meet everyone from GrandCare who's on the call. So I'll start. I'm Laura Mitchell. I'm a co-founder of GrandCare. Been with the organization since the beginning, about 20 years, and been sitting in the CEO role for the last 5. So great to see everybody. Really exciting to hear what everyone's doing. And we're going to get to hear from Chelsea today from Easter Seals of Arkansas. You want to make an introduction?
Yeah, hi, everybody. I think most of you know me. I'm Scott Feldstein, and I've been with GrandCare for 12 years. And I will be, I'm looking forward to hearing what Chelsea has to say about the fantastic work that is happening in Arkansas.
All right. How about, is Hans on?
Hans Cabrera, Director of Implementation and Compliance. Looking forward to sharing a little bit about the designer functionalities later on in this presentation.
Awesome. Thanks, Jen.
Hi, everyone. I'm Jen Klechka. I'm the Office
Operations. I can't hear you guys, but
I'm the Office Operations Manager here at GrandCare. Great to be with everyone today.
Awesome. Katja.
Hi, I am Katja. As Laura said, I am in New York, Rochester, New York. Go Bills. Had a good game yesterday. Sorry, downstate New York. I am new to GrandCare. I've been here for about a month, but I am not new to communication technology. I have been with the senior living technology space for the past 10 plus years and met GrandCare along the way, and just a great fit. So happy to be here.
Awesome. Amanda Volsky.
Hi, I'm Amanda. I've been with GrandCare for a couple of years now. Do a little bit of administrative assistant things and also develop a lot of the marketing pieces.
And I think we have Gaitha on. I'm not sure if you're on.
I'm on. I'm Gaitha Hillman, co-founder of GrandCare from 20 years ago, and I am semi-retired now, but I'm still involved with finance and operations. And in Wisconsin, go Pack.
Once you think you're out, they pull you back in. That's sort of the GrandCare mafia mentality here. All right. Anybody else from GrandCare on the call that I missed here? I don't think so. Okay. Well, let's get to, oh, sorry about that, guys. We're about to do, open it up to Chelsea, but let me just do a couple housekeeping items. Hold on a second. All right. Okay, so I just wanted to share just a couple things with you. First of all, GrandCare has a full marketing team. You met Amanda already, that is ready to do press releases. So if anybody would like to do a press release on what you're doing with GrandCare, we will write it for you and interview your clients and help you to come up with testimonials and things like that. So we're happy to do that. Anything that we can help you do, whether it's social media or press releases, please reach out to us, sales@grandcare.com, and we're happy to do that. We've got some upcoming shows coming up. So if you are in the area and would like to visit with us, we're going to be at the Open Minds in Philadelphia on the 12th to the 14th of November, and then in Arkansas at the Tech Expo on the 19th. And that's in Little Rock. And if you've got any upcoming shows coming up, or if you know you're going to be at trade shows, whether you're exhibiting the GrandCare or just attending, please let us know. We would love to share it on social and help promote you and your organization and what you're doing. Again, testimonials, if you want to share a case study or anything like that, it's so great for us to be able to share how GrandCare and how your organization is helping to promote independence and enabling individuals to live their best lives and to be more self-sufficient and for your staff to be able to provide care in a new way. I think it's very inspiring for others, and you all are, clearly early adopters for doing this already. There's a lot of folks out there that are sort of waiting and watching to see what you all do and how you can do it. And then the last thing I wanted to share is that we now have go bags available. Now we can just tell you what are in the go bags, but they are available for purchase. And the reason why we did that is so that if you're out in an installation, you have everything you need. And the go bags that we've created are probably about $30. And in it are a USB keyboard, an Ethernet cord, a power strip extension cord, batteries, double-sided tape, scissors, Sharpies, screwdrivers, things like that help with an installation. Should you need, particularly the Ethernet cord and the USB keyboard are helpful in case, we need to get in there and do something on an installation. So today, this is the really exciting part about today's webinar. You're like, oh my gosh, what's she going to say? Well, what I'm going to say is that we are giving one go bag away for free right now. And so we'll let you know at the end who we're going to select a random winner. And it's not going to be someone from GrandCare because that would be awkward. So we're going to, yes, thank you, Megan. That was very nice. So we will be selecting somebody to do that. But if you are interested in getting a go bag, it's a nice little GrandCare branded go bag. Let us know. We will be sending them out. Or if you want to just know what's in them, that it's a great thing to have on any installation. I wanted to take a chance right before we introduce Chelsea to make an introduction of, I don't know, Brian, if you're available to chat for just a second. I just want you to share who you are and the consulting that you offer. Brian is not part of GrandCare. GrandCare and Shiftability do not exchange any monies. We just refer each other to one another. So just share a little bit about who you are.
Yeah, so thanks. I've been affiliated working, with using GrandCare products, working with GrandCare for over 5 years now. I come from the intellectual disability and mental health service delivery field. So I've worked in this field for about 15 years in community-based settings and have used technology for the last 5 years to develop new models of support, to integrate technologies, to figure out how do we use technology to change the way we deliver services. About 2 years ago, a need arose where we were having multiple agencies reach out to us and say, hey, we have technology. How do we build a service model around it? So how do we actually deliver supports? How do we hire staff? How do we train them? How do we get families on board? How do we change our culture at our agencies? So I formed with a couple other people on my team, Shiftability, which is a transformation consulting group. We work with agencies, states, managed care groups to help them make this transformative change. So Chelsea, you're going to hear from is someone who I have worked with for the last year. So, but yeah, really what got us to GrandCare, just so you guys can hear it, I worked with an agency called LAD. We tried 23 versions of platforms, looking for the right one to use for our supports, knowing that as an agency to provide remote supports in-house by ourselves was the best way to get the highest amount of value. So that's what we do. So always excited about meeting new people, talking about technology, constantly sharing. I will be at Open Minds as well if you guys are going to be there by any chance. I'm speaking a couple of times, and I think we'll have a booth there so you can come and see us. But yeah, if you have any questions about, okay, we have the technology, we know how it works, how do we actually deliver services with it, or how do we build technology services models around it? Or if you're having issues with funding streams with your managed care organizations, past organizations, or state, that's where we're the experts who can come in and help you work through those things, either to give you advice or to help you develop a project. So yeah, thanks. I'm in a t-shirt in my living room because I wasn't planning on saying anything. So thank you, Laura.
I love to
I'm
do
sometimes
that.
more professional. Every once in a while, I wear a collared shirt. And
once in a while, yeah.
But never a tie.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Make sure to introduce yourself in the chat. And if we get some time at the end, I want everybody to be able to say hello and make an introduction. So with that, without further ado, I am going to go ahead and open up the floor to Chelsea. I'm just going to tell you just a little bit about her before she starts. She's the director of community living in the Easter Seals, Arkansas, and she oversees the roommate housing and HUD programs. And with that, I'm going to let the rest of her bio is on here, so I don't want to read it all to you, but she is an incredible, remarkable person. And what they're doing in Easter Seals, Arkansas is very inspirational. And we've seen a few media videos on the staff and how the clients are responding. So I'm really excited to hear a little bit more about you, Chelsea, and the work that you all are doing. So with that, I'll give you the floor.
Thank you. Thank you, Laura. Hi, everyone. My name is Chelsea Loy. So as Laura said, I'm the Director of Community Living here at Easter Seals, and I oversee two of our programs. That's HUD and Roommate Housing. Roommate Housing is where we initially implemented GrandCare technology into the homes. So what Roommate Housing is we go into apartment complexes and looking towards single family homes after the first of next year and negotiate contracts, kind of start out in independent living there for the individuals. So we install the technology, and with the help of GrandCare, we've been successful in the individuals increasing their independency. So we started our journey with GrandCare probably, I think in February of this year was when we started. So Roommate Housing has been alive and well for a year from October, but we implemented the technology in February. And I was talking with the team this morning about, we have a goal to look at decreasing our in-person staffing to 25% come March of next year. And it looks like the team, we're around the 18% mark of being able to decrease our in-person staffing due to the GrandCare screens and implementation of the resources and the help of Brian. He's been wonderful. So that's been going pretty successful. The individuals definitely have increased their independency, such as, taking their medications independently with just the reminders on the screens. They're able to communicate with the staff. The staff will send them messages through and say, hey, don't forget this, send me a thumbs up, and they do so. So that's been real encouraging for them and empowering for them to do that themselves. And then also just being able to, their day-to-day, going to work on time, maintaining their household, that's been pretty significant in their lives to accomplish. So we've looked at restructuring staff in a way to where we can support them more independently. And so part of that looks like on leaning more towards the staffing strengths. What are they really good at for their in-person responses? If they're that socialization or outings, kind of structuring them in that way to where the individuals can lean more on their independency and the technology to accomplish that themselves if they're able. So we've implemented overnight staff for remote supports as well to oversee all of the technology. And so the staff is set up on a rotational schedule. They're not always present in the home. And we found this to be a lot more successful in staff retention, having it on a rotational schedule for the individuals. So we've looked at staff retention, decreasing of in-person staff, and then also the individuals engaging more in their independent skills. An example that I like to use is it's probably been a few months ago, we had a tornado that came through West Little Rock, and it was right near the apartment complex where we have 14 individuals currently residing at. And so we only had 2 staff that were there in person overnight. One was doing in-person checks and one was monitoring all of the systems. But I had a manager had reached out to me and said she was, had got an indicator that there was movement in one of the homes. And so I called out on the screen. Of course, there's capability to push a call through, and we only do that if that's absolutely necessary. I like for them to have that choice, whether or not if they want to talk to me. So the individual, I pushed this call through, and I was able to reach out to them as they were kind of wandering around in their apartment. And I asked them if they were safe and okay. And I said, "Do you hear those sirens going off?" And they said, "Yes," but I was just getting hungry. So they were in the kitchen looking for a snack. I told them to quickly grab a snack and get to a safe space. And then I could call back out to them on the screen in the next 10 to 15 minutes just to check in. So that is one of the ways that I know we have successfully been able to implement GrandCare and utilize it. It was, I live an hour and a half from the Little Rock area, so it's not easy. It's not easy for me to get there quickly to assist. Although, we had on-site staff, there's 2 staff and there's 14 individuals. So that's a lot of coverage. And we just wanted to make sure that everyone was safe. And we were able to do that with the implementation of the screens. So as I think Brian had also mentioned, Open Minds and the Arkansas Tech Expo, I will be there as well, a few of our team members. So we'd be happy to discuss any further conversations that we're doing over here at Easter Seals in Arkansas with you all. I'd love to meet y'all in person if you want to drop in and ask any questions.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Chelsea. That was really helpful. And if you have any questions, feel free to throw them right in the chat. We can answer them either on the chat or as we go along here. So one of the things I wanted to share with you today is not only we're going to talk about our new features. I think Scott's going to take over and talking about our new stock photos and videos and things like that. Scott, I think what we'll do is we'll share the slides and then you can go ahead and share your screen and how to do it. But before we do that, I wanted to let you know that I'm having some of our marketing team share some of the marketing pieces that you may or may not know that we have. One of them is a day in the life video of GrandCare, which is a newer video that we've created that you're welcome to use. Also a customization guide. If you go to grandcare.com/support, you can see the customization guide and other training and support videos. It's actually a really great resource for customizing touchscreens. And by customizing, I mean adding pictures, messages, medications, all of the stuff that you can do on a touchscreen is in that customization guide. So even if you've gone through training or if you've got a new staff, it's just a step-by-step visual of, as well as written instructions on how to do those things. So Scott, I will give you the floor to go through these slides and then you can go ahead and share your screen after we're done.
Yeah. So thanks, Laura. And thank you, Chelsea. The leaders like you are really setting an example for people all over the country who are implementing GrandCare technology. So thanks for being on here with us today. So one of the things that we believe in really strongly is the idea that everyone who receives GrandCare touchscreens in their home, that those touchscreens be configured specifically for them, and that they have things on them, not just their medication schedules and their their to-do reminders and all that sort of stuff, but that it also has things on them that purely for entertainment or that reflect that individual's interests. And so to that end, we have the ability to, I'm just gonna show you. Here we go. So I'm logged into the GrandCare server. I'm going to click through on this particular GrandCare touchscreen, and I'm going to show you something. Some of you may know about this, and others that may be completely new. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go all the way over to the right on the top of the website here to the tab that's labeled Content. And this is relatively new. It hasn't always been there. And there's a couple things going on here that I want to show you. Number one is we could add videos. If we want to add videos to this person's touchscreen, we can do that right here. In fact, I think maybe I will just show you that. See, first I have to add a video list, and I can call it whatever I want.
And I just want to share in here is the reason that we've done this is have stock videos and stock photos is so that when you have, you know, somebody likes dolphins, they like the Packers, of course, everybody likes the Packers. They like, you know, Paw Patrol, they like wrestling, whatever. We're creating stock video folders of YouTube videos that are that. And we've got a ton of them as well as pictures so that you can easily add a bunch of content to somebody's touchscreen. And as we add new videos, we're having somebody add those videos in constantly so that their content doesn't become stale. They don't have just 4 videos on their touchscreen and that's it. It'll keep adding more videos and photos. So this is a great feature to make sure that there's new and engaging content.
Yeah, and I'm going to show these stock videos to choose from in just a second, but this is just how you would add, excuse me, a video just for this particular person that they are interested in. Maybe that one doesn't work for me. There we go. So here's a video that I want to share to this person's touchscreen so that they can touch their screen and watch it anytime they want to. So I'm going to save this video. Now I have a video list with one single video in it. I could add as many as I want to, but I want to show you something even more fun, which is, as Laura mentioned, stock videos. And if I use this button here labeled Assign Stock Videos, you can see what we've got here is we've got take a look at this. We've got collections of videos reflecting all sorts of diverse interests. You can see we've got several different types of animals here for videos. We've got ballroom dancing with 16 videos in it. So if this person is really into art or painting, I could just select that video collection right here, and they're going to get 5 videos about painting right on their touchscreen. So once I select it, I can add those videos, and now this person is going to have all of those videos available to them on their touchscreen. And like I said, we have a huge collection of different things. I'll just take a browse through this: fish tank, drawing, dolls, cooking shows, Abraham Lincoln.
A lot of court TV stuff, just things, trains, roller coasters. So, and if it's not already here, you can create it, or you can ask us to create it. And what you may realize about the GrandCare system is that the YouTube videos that you select do need to be able to be embedded. And what that means is that YouTube oftentimes, especially with music videos, a lot of ones that are owned by music production companies don't allow their videos to be embedded because they don't allow you to share them. They want those YouTube ads. And so those ones are not allowed to be shared. But we have a program that can let you know ahead of time which videos are allowed to be shared. And maybe we can share that on an upcoming email of how to download that. I can't remember what the program is called, how to download the program so that you can verify whether the video can be shown Oh, the media tester. Thank you.
Yeah, media tester.
Media tester. And if you can't, otherwise though, we've got so many videos here and you can also ask for it. We do offer customization services for a very minimal charge now. We've really gone down in price on that, especially because it's so simple to add things now.
So now that I've shown you the new place to add videos to this person's touchscreen, but also to add collections of stock videos that have already been curated by GrandCare people. Now, I want to draw your attention to the idea that right above that, you can do the same thing with still photos. You can add a photo album, add your own personal photos for that person, or you can browse our collections of stock photos. And again, we've got an incredible diversity of interests here. So pretty much no matter what this person is into, we're going to probably have something that's going to be just right for them. And I think that's all I intended to share with you. But
why don't you show the touchscreen so that they can see what that looks like?
Okay. It may take a little while for those things to appear there. Let me just add some stock photos.
So the goal of this too is that when you're adding some of these stock videos and stock photos, that they come in their own video folders. That was what I wanted him to show you, is that that they come in their own folders. So the video, it'll be under a videos button, and then the folders will be under there.
Yeah. So in this case, like Laura just said, there's a videos button on the touchscreen. And you can see that already the personal video list appears there, and it will have the videos that have been selected for that list. And the stock videos will also appear here within a few minutes.
Hey, Scott, we have a question here related to videos.
Mm-hmm.
They feel that the individuals are dependent on someone else to upload the video, and it's what the uploader thinks that they may like. Whereas if someone likes dolphins and a dolphin video was loaded, it might not be exactly what they want to see. How do we get around that issue?
That's a really good point. There's a reason why we don't allow touchscreen users to go out onto the web and select their own videos. And it's mainly because many of the people that are supported through the GrandCare platform aren't allowed to have open access to the internet. So it'd be really difficult for them to go out and just hunt down the very specific things. I would think that they would have to do that with a family member or with a staff person, so that they could find exactly what they wanted in a supervised way.
Yeah, and I think that in this scenario, I mean, that might be a case where that individual may want to benefit from a different piece of technology, like an iPad or any sort of tablet or whatever, to be able to access the World Wide Web. Part of what GrandCare does is we do offer a lockdown version of it. However, because there are so many videos, hopefully, if they like dolphins and there's 20 different videos, that they will benefit from, at least some of those. And of course, they can always say what kinds of things they want to see, but yeah, so that is that's part of what we're hoping.
Thanks for the reminder, Nigel.
Yeah, so it's more of trying to give access to as much as we can, and putting more variety in there so that there can be as much as possible.
And I think that's it. All we were going to show for stock photos and videos, but there's more that Hans is going to show about our new designer app. And I'm just going to let him do that.
Thanks, Scott. And yeah, Laura, if you could show these first few slides before I jump in through the walkthrough.
Yep.
The designer, that's what I want to talk about. That's a relatively new feature that we've introduced to the GrandCare software world, and it's primarily motivated by the complexity of needs that exist amongst the individuals that we serve, that you serve. And we want to make the technology work as best as possible for all those different possibilities of needs that exist. And so we want to increase the power, the abilities that you have to configure the technology. And so if you could switch to the next slide, please, Laura. Currently, the designer allows you to do two things extremely well. And so the first is to edit the main menu design or any of the menu designs that the individual will be accessing through the touchscreen. And so that includes buttons, button order, what the buttons do. The second thing that the designer currently allows you to do is to create your own surveys or assessments. Those assessments that can be accessed by the individual on the touchscreen. Previously, you were able to add those based on a list of standard stock assessments. Now, you can create your own assessments. And so if you could switch to the next slide, please, Laura. What I plan to do is just to give you a quick taste of how that works. And hopefully what you'll take away from it is that it's possible, what is possible within the designer, and also that it's relatively easy to actually do what you want to do with just a few clicks. And so for that, I will do a walkthrough of how we can edit the main menu design. And then the next slide, please, Laura. And also show you here how you can create an assessment. And so I'm going to share my screen now. Let me know if you can see my screen.
Yep.
Okay, thanks. And so I'm logged in here as a staff member in my fictional role here within the portal, just like you would be logged into the GrandCare portal. And the first thing I want to point out, if you want to use the designer, which you can already see here in the left-hand menu, one way to access it. First thing you want to make sure you have is an administrator role of some sort, whether it's an account administration role, group admin, which is what I have here, or a distributor admin. And so the designer, the ability, the powers that come with the designer are given to those who have the admin role, which I have here for this fictional group, 327 North Main Street. So I'm going to click on that, and you can get an idea of what's in here. I have these fictional touchscreens in here. There's a touchscreen in each of the bedrooms for these three individuals, Alex, Billy, and Charlie. And then there's that touchscreen that we saw earlier that Scott added some videos to, the Main Street kitchen touchscreen, which is a common area touchscreen. And so we're going to take a look at that one. And so here I am at the account page for this touchscreen. I'm on the summary tab. I'm going to switch over here to the details tab, because there you're going to be able to see the designer button again. And the difference with this designer button is that when I click it, is going to take me straight into the designer, but specifically to the part of the designer that deals with that touchscreen. And so here I am. This is what the designer looks like. It opens up as a separate tab. You don't have to log in separately because you've already logged into the portal. And as I mentioned, the first thing that I want to do is to edit the main menu design of this touchscreen, the one in the kitchen. And so right away, you see at the very top, the main menu is listed as one of the menus that's available on this touchscreen. And underneath it, you see a bunch of other menus, which are sub menus, which may or may not be used within the main menu. Since I want to edit the main menu, I'm going to click this pencil and paper icon here. And right away, you get to see this view of what the design currently looks like for this main menu. And you can see it's got 6 buttons there. They're the large square buttons, and these are the 6 specific types. This should look familiar to most of you because this is more or less the default layout of the touchscreen. But again, the purpose of the designer is to give you the ability to configure or to customize the buttons on the touchscreen so that it better suits this particular individual or set of individuals, in this case, in the kitchen touchscreen. The first thing that I want to show you is that the health button that exists here, perhaps I'm thinking to myself as a staff person for this particular home, nobody is really going to take their health readings or do any kind of health-related functionalities on the kitchen touchscreen. So I'm going to click on this, and it's going to show me this pop-up. And from this pop-up, one of the things that it allows you to do is to just get rid of that button altogether. So in the designer, you can delete buttons from the main menu of that particular touchscreen, which I'm going to do here. And so there, it's gone. The other thing that you can do in the designer is to add buttons as well. And so here I'm thinking that the individuals in this fictional home, they really, really love to listen to the local radio. And sure, it is available here under the play button, which is a sub menu. But I want to take it a little step further and just make a direct button on the main menu that they can click, so that it'll save them a click since they use it so often. So I'm going to add a button. And right away, you get to see what you can do when you add a button. You can select the type of icon, and currently there are a list of icons you can choose from. I'll choose this one, which is most appropriate. What do I want that button to say? I want it to be called local radio. But you can type whatever you want in there. And then, because I'm interested in launching the local radio, which is a module or building block of functionality within the GrandCare software, I'm going to select Launch a Main Screen Module. And here, when I look at the different options for modules, you'll see all the things that you're used to seeing and perhaps some things you're not used to seeing. You can take a look at some of these at your own time. These are things that would be helpful to look at as part of like a creative laboratory, which is kind of one way that you can see the designer is a creative laboratory. So here we go. Here's the one I want it to do. Launch the local radio, and that's it. And you've added the local radio button to this main menu design. And here's what else you can do. You can click on this particular button right there on the user interface and drag it to the location where you want it to be. If you want it to be a little more prominent, you can put it up here and just drag it that way. And so I wanted to show you that ability to add a button. Okay, and so just to give you a little more complex example of what else you can do here, I'm going to add a different kind of button. In this particular touchscreen, it's a kitchen touchscreen, and I want to be able to add a specific video list for this touchscreen that shows some meal plan recipes specific to an individual. So what am I going to do? I want to go back to add a button, and I'm going to select an icon. Because this is related to meal plans, I'm going to select the cooking icon. And I'm going to say that this is a particular meal plan set for Alex, the first of the individuals in this home. So I want this to be a list of videos specific to Alex and his meal plan, videos that he can play right on the touchscreen in the kitchen. Playing a specific video list is my main screen module. And I'm going to select it here, just as I did the other one. The difference between the all video lists and the specific video lists, this button is already existing. You can see it almost there in the background. That shows all the videos. But what if I wanted to just show a specific video? And then this is the last part here, to take that video list ID. So I'm going to go over there and I'm going to check out that specific video list that Scott added, click on it, and pull that video list ID from the URL, as you can see here, after the equal sign. I'll copy, and I'm going to paste it here. And that's it. That's Alex Meal Plan Recipes video list that you can click on specifically. I'm going to drag it back to the first page and put it here more prominently. And you even have the option here, if you see this orange button that I'm hovering over, if you think that you have more buttons than 6 and you want them all to show up in that first page of the main menu, you can click on this and switch to slimmer rectangular buttons. And that way you get more buttons, up to 10 on that main menu page. And when you're finished, you can just save. And that change almost instantaneously makes itself impacted onto the touchscreen when you take a look at it. Okay. And so that's what I wanted to show you about the main menu design. The next thing that I wanted to share with you were some assessments. How do I create an assessment for an individual? And so for that, I'm going to take a look at the list of accounts that I have access to. These are the touchscreens that are currently up that I can customize using Designer. And instead of adding an assessment to the kitchen touchscreen, I'm going to take a look at the individual that I'm interested in adding a pain assessment for, to give that individual a chance to let me know how he is feeling in terms of pain. And so Alex's bedroom touchscreen is where I want to add that. So I'll click on the magnifying glass, and that'll take me to Alex's bedroom touchscreen account page. And I'm going to switch from the menus page, which you know what that's all about already, to the assessments tab. And here is where you can see the current list of assessments or surveys that are available on Alex's bedroom touchscreen. And as you look through this list, perhaps you've already used some of these in the past. Again, the Designer is special in that now you can create your own assessment, because in this case, I don't see a pain assessment on this list. And so here's where that orange button, I'm going to click Add, and that's going to give me the option to all of a sudden create my own assessment. And since this is a pain assessment, I'm going to label it something like pain assessment. So that's how it looks like in the Designer itself. And then I'm going to give it what the Designer requires is a unique assessment ID. I'll call it pain. And then the on-screen title, what's actually going to show up on the touchscreen itself. All that pain assessment. And finally, it gives you an option of what you want it to do after the individual has completed the assessment. And here it's going to say thank you. But here right below is where you can add the questions. You can add as many questions as you want to this assessment. I'm only going to add one for this example. I'm going to click on this, and of the question types, you can see you can do a multiple choice assessment. This could be useful if you want to give the individual options for what kinds of things to answer for their particular question. But when you click on it, you'll see the other types of question types available currently. And one of them is the pain scale. You'll also see other examples here, like the 0 to 10 scale, which some people can use for other reasons, like a net promoter score survey, a 0 to 7 scale. That could be useful for something like, how many days in the past week did you do X? And then the zones of regulation, which is a recent one that has been added, thanks to help from one of the organizations who requested it for mood assessments. I'm going to use the pain scale, and I'm going to add my question. You could type your question as you want it to be phrased, which I'm doing here. I'm going to save the question. And then finally, I'm going to save the assessment. And that's it. Now, all of a sudden, as you look at Alex's bedroom lists of assessments, you now all of a sudden have a new assessment that you've created here. And so for that, you can go to Alex's touchscreen. And then under the Communicate tab, you can add an assessment reminder to be taken at a specific time during Alex's day. It could be single, it could be once a week, it could be every day at a specific time here, as you can see. And so that'll show up on Alex's touchscreen at a specific scheduled time each day. And every time that the assessment is taken, then you'll be able to see the results of the assessment. And I won't get into it now, but we've also released the ability to create rules around this, and I'll save that for another time.
All right. Are you all set, Hans?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, then I will continue sharing, because that actually segues very nicely. And Karen, thank you for the prompt. Segues really nicely into some of the new features that we have. For one thing, staff can be flagged and notified if an assessment is answered a certain way. The idea behind that is if there's a certain score. So let's say you want to know happiness level. Are you happy, sad, or, and we also have added some the feature to be able to add photo icons in case for any non-readers out there. Devin asked a question, how could we get the new assessment to appear as a title on the screen? Hans, can you address that?
You could clarify what you mean by title. So currently what we have is
I think a button on the touch.
Yeah, I know what Devin is at. I was just about to answer in the chat, but good question, Devin. That is something that we've spoken to the development team about having on-demand assessments where the person could just touch that button on the touch screen and take that assessment anytime they want to. So I think they're considering that. That seemed like a pretty sensible thing to have. So I think that that's something we may be doing in the very near future.
But for now, what is it, Scott?
You can't. An assessment has to be tied to a reminder in the calendar.
Okay, so the
thing that you can do to that is to also take a look at, if you have the today button, you'd be able to see it in the schedule, touch it in the schedule, and then take it from there. That's the closest thing that you could possibly do with that.
Yeah, so that's a great point, that in the today schedule, it would say all these things, and then you'd have the assessment in that today schedule. So you could take it anytime you wanted to. But yes, that is on the horizon for us to have the assessment just appear on the touchscreen as a button that they can take anytime. Anna has a question. How do you know which assessment ID to choose?
And so that's up to you. That's a good question. And so you can make it a unique, make sure the key thing is that it's a unique ID that's not currently being used. And then that'll distinguish it from the other surveys. Even if they have the same title, the main thing is that they have a unique assessment ID.
Okay, so just some new things on the horizon are that we're going to be continue adding more customization in the designer to be able to customize your logo and button icons, push menus, brand logo as part of a single step. So it makes it easier for you to brand specific touchscreens, whether it's per household or whether it's per your organization. We're always doing improvements to Bluetooth pairing and connectivity for any of you folks that have telehealth devices in use. And of course, we are adding, it's pretty exciting. We've just hired somebody that focuses on AI machine learning, which is going to be able to automatically detect motion routines and changes in routines. A lot of you have been asking for this for quite some time, and we hope to be able to deploy that early next year, which is going to be like, if there is a change in this person's motion, the system will, look at Matt's motion and, for the first couple of months. And if there's a change to that motion, an outlier, then the system would notify you that, hey, there's been a change. And so, address that. Maybe something's going on. Maybe that person is sick. Maybe there's been a change in their, in their health and well-being. And so it will give you some additional support from GrandCare machine learning to be able to be notified. Okay, and just wanted to share a couple more things with you before. Now we've got about 11 minutes left in the call today, and we'll be sticking around after too to make sure. But what I wanted to share was just some more marketing resources that we have available for you, and we can share this roundtable presentation. But there's a lot of different, I know someone from LAD is on here. We've got the LAD Smart Home video that talks about their smart home, and Xavier University study that shows some ROI case study on the LAD Smart Home and how they've been able to use technology to save on costs, promote better independence, promote happiness, because at the end of the day, isn't that what it's all about, is improved life and improved happiness and better outcomes individually. And then we've got the customization guide, and somebody asked a great question before. Our customization guide is constantly being improved, of course, because we are living, breathing products. So GrandCare is also constantly being improved. And if you have not already signed up to receive the updates, we do software releases usually 3 to 4 times a month, late at night. And so if you signed up, if you have not signed up to receive those release notes, maybe Hans or Scott, you can share in the chat how they can do that. Great question. Is there thinking about making GrandCare add voice responsivity? Yes, there's been some thought about doing some type of thing like this. We're not there yet, but it's certainly on our radar. At this time, we're kind of focusing a little bit more on the machine learning part of things. But yeah, I think that is something. Right now, there is Scott shared the releases. So if you subscribe to that releases link right there, you'll receive email notifications every time we do a release and the release notes, what was included in that release, updates, things like that. So you're completely up to date on all the newest things. And as far as the voice responsivity, we have researched that with a company. The difficulty with this company right now is that it requires several hours of learning how that individual speaks before it works. So it's quite an arduous process right now. But yeah, we'll keep you advised on that. Of course, we're always looking to make GrandCare better and bigger and with more features. So if there are things that you think of that you think would make the product better, we always want to hear from you. If your organization does not yet participate in our monthly account management meetings, we share all of our new features. We do training on these meetings. We can overcome any obstacles or objections, any questions that you have. We can make introductions to other folks. So that is all available. So we have 8 minutes left. So let me go ahead and open up the floor for anyone who may have any questions, comments, thoughts.
This is John. He's 25 years old. He has Down syndrome. John used to live with his parents, but now he's out on his own. John used to rely on his parents to remind him to do all the little things he needed to do during his day, like teeth brushing and eating meals. But now that John is on his own, he uses GrandCare to provide these reminders and prompts.
All right, I just wanted to play a little bit of that so you could see a little bit of the day in the life video that we have available. So let's open it up. Anybody have any questions, comments, jokes? Want to just introduce yourself, say hi? The floor is open. The dance floor is open.
We could always use more jokes.
Anybody besides Scott want to share a joke? Any other questions?
Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, hi. So I'll introduce myself. I'm Michelle Brown. I'm the Senior Director. I'm here at Residential Services for CCRC. And so the individuals are using the GrandCare, and I have to say they are very excited. I was at a individual's home, and she was doing exercise, and she's also was calling. I think she was calling this the senior VP, all in one. So it was exciting to see her just enjoying this the system. So it's working, and it's awesome. Actually, it's awesome for their independence. Yeah.
I love that. Thank you for sharing that. And where are you guys located? Just share with everybody.
So we're in Connecticut, 950 Slater Road, New Britain, CCRC.
Thanks so much, Michelle. Here's a question from Karen in New York. How do you get the individuals excited to use it when there's a lot of staff turnover? Does anyone have any thoughts or comments on that?
You said, how do you get the individuals excited when there's a lot of staff turnovers? I think it would probably be just training the staff that's there, and even the new ones that come in, I think and getting them involved. Because we have a lot of staff turnover here in Connecticut, but I think with the training and the shadowing of the person that's hired, I think as long as you give them that training and not just throwing them into the position itself, it's working. Like we're revamping a lot of ways. We're training new hires and I think that helps the individuals where we just don't throw them in, thinking we got a body here now. And, so we're taking time so they can get to know the individuals and, their home and, and everything and the things that they use and do and that excites them. If that helps.
Well, thank you. That's very helpful. Does anyone else have, I saw that Juliana said that there's not a lot of turnover for the remote staff with LAD. Has anyone else found that to be the case, that there's less turnover for remote staff? Juliana, do you want to share anything about that?
I mean, yeah, just that's kind of it. We haven't really experienced the same kind of turnover that we have for in-person staff. The remote monitoring position is often a lot more appealing, and people who have children or we have a lot of students on our team, with the 24/7 program, and there's lots of options for a shift to work. So that has been an appealing point to individuals we support. I know that you see a lot of different people in person, but I can assure you that your remote team is the same people, the same team of people.
Absolutely. Anybody else have any thoughts on that? There's a couple other questions here of how to get more staff to buy in. Anybody have any recommendations on what you've done to get your staff to buy in to this? I mean, obviously, this is a brand new model of care. It's not really replacing anything. It's really adding on a hybrid model of care. So it's not it's interesting. So anybody have any thoughts? Nigel, do you want to say something?
Yeah. Hi guys. I definitely think it has to be part of the culture from the beginning, from hiring staff. So it becomes difficult when staff are in and they're comfortable, and then you bring something to them that they're not sure of, and then they become skeptical, and they don't really exactly know what it is, and they have all kind of thoughts. Is this something that's monitoring staff, or did I do something wrong, or are you trying to take away my hours, or so they don't really exactly know how to utilize it or the benefits of it. But if it's something that's initially brought up as part of the hiring process, then it just becomes part of the everyday culture of staffing and of the agency. So it's not you don't get as much pushback. That's what I've seen, at least.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you. I think that's totally true, because and really it's also about hearing when somebody might have an objection to it, a staff member, and really hearing that individual out and saying, what is your objection? And maybe this person is really meant to work in person, direct support, and doesn't want to be part of the remote supports. And that's okay. We need that. There will never be no need for that. So, I mean, a lot of individuals may not want to be part of that. But I think there are a lot of people in remote supports that do enjoy it. And I think it's just really just a matter of having a town hall meeting and really hearing everybody out and making sure that everybody feels like they're part of the process. Of course, this isn't meant to replace anybody. We will not have that problem where there will always be a need. I haven't heard so far that people have too many caregiving staff. So I think that it's going to, but it's a change. It's definitely a change. And there are some individuals that just don't, feel comfortable with that. And it's going to be a process to get to it. Karen's asking if we can do a training on staff buy-in. What about the clients loving to use it? Have you now? I think that there might be a difference here, whether you're serving the older adult population or the IDD population, as far as who loves to use it more. We have a lot of folks in long-term care that enjoy using it for different reasons. They love to watch the YouTube videos. Maybe for some reason or another, they don't have another device to be able to do that. So they like doing that. And I'm talking about the older adult, the senior population. Or they love to do the resident-to-resident touchscreen. Touchscreens can video chat with one another. They may love to use the check-in button, things like that. Whereas in the IDD world, that they may love to be able to self-direct and self-support and not have somebody else telling it's time to do this, and instead they can, manage their own day. So I think that there are different reasons why people would enjoy using it. Does anyone else have any thoughts about how you've gotten the clients, the individuals, to buy in if they were skeptical at using the touchscreen at first?
I think with the experiences that I've had, the individuals who are, let's say, between the 25 to probably 45 to 50 range are more apt to use it independently for things such as, playing games, listening to music, finding out what the weather is for today, and of course the schedules. But then I think that there's another side where certain ones who are a little bit more up in age aren't really too used to technology and are kind of not interested in it, in odd forms of technology, not just the GrandCare, but like cell phones and iPads and stuff like that. It's just not. They'd rather play card games or play something that's more tactile than, to do something on a screen. So it goes both ways. I've seen people who use it every day. We have a house where there's 3 gentlemen and they use it constantly. Like they use it every day. That's their thing. They go in their room and they play games and they're on the radio, and they have their thing. They have their GrandCare set up that they like, the way they like to have it set up. So it's really preferential the way I see it. It's a lot of people who have preference to it, who are excited about technology, gravitate towards the GrandCare, but those are more not technologically savvy or don't have too much interest in things like that. Then they kind of just use it for the schedule.
Thanks, Nigel. Yeah, I think that one of the key things that you said is to have that touchscreen customized to reflect that person's interests and what they're all into. We found that's also key to getting people enthusiastic about it, is to make sure that it's got the kind of content that they're gonna find engaging.
Right. It's gotta be individualized, right? So if someone puts my touchscreen and you put a bunch of cats on, I don't want cats, I want dogs, right? Or I don't want, I want music, but not country. I want heavy metal, so it really is just exactly what that individual wants. And sometimes it takes a minute to get that customized because they may fill out a form and say they like all these things, but not that kind of opera music, this kind, or not those types of musicals, these types. And so, it can take a minute to make sure that you get the right content on there. And it's of course, you can continuously add things as you learn more information.
It's like, I like Motley Crue, not Twisted Sister.
Exactly.
Well, no kidding.
Exactly. I only listen to that when I'm cleaning. I love some of these questions too, like any call waiting options in the future. Definitely will add that to a potential request. I love the fact that there is the need for call waiting. So that's interesting. Hadn't thought about that. It sounds like I will have, Michelle, I'll have support reach out to you just to make sure that you got your question answered. And then Ade, you asked, how are providers deciding when to turn on or off remote supports, or are you allowed to overlap? Gee, I don't know this one. So anybody maybe from LAD or ARC of Southington or Midstate Arc or anybody else that knows the answer to how to decide when to turn on or off remote supports?
I know for us, for LAD, we tend to decide that together with the in-person staff, you know, based on what the individual or the site needs. You know, if there's in-person staff available for X amount of hours, we try to utilize them, you know, to get the supports that can't really be provided remotely, and then we just kind of turn on, you know, when those needs have been met. They can overlap sometimes, at least in my experience. It's very situational, and has to be approved by, you know, the county or in my experience.
Awesome. Anyone else?
Yeah, we never turn off remote supports. I mean, it's always on, even when there's staff. The remote support monitoring system is always running. You know,
Yeah.
and,
Ours is too. It's always running. You know, it's always connected to Wi-Fi. That way, if somebody needs something, that we can, you know, help them. But you know, a lot of the conversation will be turning it on or off. Like, this is your support window. This is not your support window. But technically, nothing's ever being turned off.
Okay, awesome. And it looks like there was some comments in the chat as well. Thanks, guys, for answering some of those questions. And also, if you're interested in speaking on one of these calls, we're always looking to highlight just one provider on each call, just to kind of how you're using the touchscreen, and if we can make these more engaging, the better. So if you have any ideas, if you want to have a forum or a discussion about different things, we know that GrandCare is good at the technology, but you guys are the ones that are good at implementing it and setting up the remote supports, and you're the ones who know how exactly to provide care for these individuals and to engage with them and to do the right things. So love to hear your thoughts on how we can make these roundtables better and more productive for you.
Yeah,
So-
thanks everybody for sharing all of your collective wisdom here. It's educational for us as well as everyone else. Thank you.
And I just wanted to let you know that we did a random selection of all the folks that are on this call, and the grab bag goes to Mainstay. So thank you so much. I'm not sure if you're still, so we will contact you and share that information and send you the go bag. Oh, I'm so sorry, Nigel. I'm so sorry. Everybody gets a go bag. You get a go bag. You get a go bag. Everybody should get a go bag. Well, we'll be in touch, guys. All right. Thank you so much for joining this, and we'll stick around for a couple minutes. But of course, you have any thoughts or ideas, we're here to help. Our support desk is open during office hours and Central Time. Please feel free to reach out to us. Just say hello, ask us questions. All right. Thanks, everybody.